lovely people, welcome back to another tutorial. If you're joining for the first time, hi, my name is Jennifer. I'm a bead making tutor here on YouTube. It's nice having you here as well. Before we begin with today's tutorial, I have to say thank you to my amazing 5,000 subscribers. Wow, we hit a really huge milestone. I'm super grateful to you all for the love and support and the engagement with my posts. I really appreciate each and every one of you. So today we're going to learn how to make this triangular shaped clutch purse. This is the structure of the bag. This is what it looks like on the inside. It has 3 buttons that helps give the shape. Okay, you can carry it like this or hang it on your arm. Really cool, huh? The making of this bag is a very, let's say it's complex, I don't know, but I need you to pay close attention to whatever I'm doing in this tutorial. If you're a total beginner that has never attempted this bag, because this bag is very similar to the viral Bottega Veneta beaded bag tutorial I made like I think 2 months ago or so. So if you have watched that one, then this should be very easy for you to make. But if you have never watched that, then please follow along this tutorial closely so that it will be very clear for you to understand. If you get stuck along the way with the making of this bag or have any questions or design requests, you can send a message on Instagram at Bead with Jenny. I'll be really glad to help. Let's get on with the tutorial.
For this project, you need some beads. We're going to use these plastic round beads in size 6mm. You'd also need your fishing line. Today we'll be using 0.50mm. You'd also need 2 pairs of magnetic hooks. Well, I ended up using about 3 pairs. Okay, you actually need 3 pairs of magnetic hooks. And lastly, your scissors. That is all we'll be needing for this. Let's go. To start, you cut out some line. We're going to use this much. Then on the left hand side of the line, you're going to add a total of 4 beads. 3 and 4. You draw down 3, then you cross both ends of the line into the last one added, like this. Then you draw that all the way down. And this is what you have. It is your first ring. To proceed, on both sides of the line, you're going to add 1 bead each. So on the left you add 1 bead, on the right you add another bead, then you take 1 more bead and cross both ends of your line into that bead like this. Draw that down as well. Now you have made your second ring. To continue, we want to repeat what we just did. On both sides of the line, you'll add 1 bead each. Then you take 1 more bead and cross both ends of your line into that bead. And now the third ring is complete. So you want to keep up with this step until you reach your desired length. You add 1 on each side, then you cross with 1. Okay, keep this going until you get your desired length. My desired length is 22. I have done 3 so far, but I'm going to do this until I get to 21. Okay, because the 22nd one will be different. So let's go. I am right here at my desired length. I have beaded up to 21. Like I said earlier, my desired length is 22 in total. So it's time to complete the 22nd one. This time I won't add 1 bead on each side and cross with 1. No, this time around on the left hand side alone, I'm going to add 3 beads. Then I cross both ends of my line into the last one added. And this is what I'll have. So as you can see, it takes me over to the other side of my work and not the top as usual. It is now time for the next step. Right here, I want to introduce you to something I call the reduction process. How is that done? I'm going to follow the pattern back until it gets to the other side of the previous bead. That is, trace the pattern back until it gets to that bead right there. And how am I going to do that? Please watch closely and do exactly as I am doing. Alright, we are finally here and this is what we have. As you can see, we are at the other side of the previous bead. Now it is time to start a new row. So right where we are, we're going to add on the left hand side of the line 3 beads. Then we'll cross both ends of the line into the last one added, like this. Draw that all the way down, and now you have created your first ring on the second row. This is what our work looks like. To proceed, the right hand side of the line would go into the next bead right there. Pass your line through it. Then on the left hand side, you're going to add a total of 2 beads. Then you cross both ends of your line into the last one added. Now you have created your second ring on the second row. To proceed, the right hand side of the line would go into the next bead. Repeat what we just did, okay? Then on the left hand side, we add a total of 2 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one. So yeah, you want to keep up with this routine. The right hand side goes into the next bead, and on the left hand side you add 2 beads. Keep this going until you get all the way down, but stop right here on the second to the last one. Why? Because this is a reduction process. You do not want to go into that last one, okay? So let's go. I have beaded all the way down and I am right here on the second and the last ring. Let's complete it. The right hand side goes into the next bead there. Then on the left hand side we add 2 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. And now it is complete. This is where we'll stop. We won't go into that last bead right there. No, because this is a reduction process. To proceed, we want to create the third row now, and to do that we apply the reduction process again. And how is that done? Follow the pattern back until it gets to the other side of the previous bead. So let's do that. We're going to trace back until it gets to that bead right there. We are finally here and now we can create a new row. So on this side of the line, that is the left hand side, we're going to add 3 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Now the first ring on the third row is complete. To proceed, the right hand side of the line would go into the next bead there. Then on the left hand side we add 2 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. We just made the second ring on the third row. To proceed, the right hand side of the line we go into the next bead like we did. Then on the left hand side we add 2 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. And yeah, so we're going to keep up with this routine until we get all the way down again. But we have to stop right there at the second to the last bead because we are doing the reduction process, okay? Let's go. I am right here, so let's complete the second to the last one. The left hand side we add 2 beads, then we cross both ends of the line into the last one, and finally the third row is complete. This is what we have done so far. It is now time to create the fourth row, and to do that, what do? We follow the pattern back until it gets all the way to the other side of the previous bead. Let me repeat the reduction process one more time so that it will be very clear for you to understand. We are right here at the other side of the previous bead, and to start a new row, what do? We add 3 beads to the left, then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. You just made the first ring on the 4th row. To proceed, the right hand side of the line would go into the next bead there. Then on the left hand side, you're going to add 2 beads. Then you cross both ends of the line into the last one added. To proceed, repeat what you just did. The right hand side of the line would go into the next bead, and on the left hand side you add 2 beads. Then you cross both ends of your line into the last one added. And that's it, guys. That's all you need to know about the reduction process. So when you keep up with this routine, you get all the way down, or stop at the second to the last bead, then go all the way up, to the previous bead. That is all you need to keep repeating until you reduce and you have just 2 beads pointing out there. If you don't understand what I mean, keep on watching and let's go. I am here now and I am done with the reduction process on this side, and as you can see, we have just 2 beads pointing out there. So this is what your work should look like. To proceed, we want to continue our reduction process on the other side. So right here at this bead at the bottom, I'm going to skip that first one, okay, because we are still reducing. So the previous bead right there, we're going to pass our line through it like this. Draw that out, make sure your line is of equal length. Let's flip that over for a better view. Then on the left hand side of the line, you're going to add 3 beads. Then you cross both ends of your line into the last one added. And this is what you'll have. To proceed, the right hand side will go into the next bead there. Then on the left hand side, we add a total of 2 beads. Then we cross both ends into the last one. So yeah, this is our usual routine of 2 beads. We're going to keep that going until we get all the way down, okay? So let's go. I have beaded all the way down and I'm right here at the second to the last one. So let's complete it, and now it is complete. But this time around, I'm going to go into that last bead. Why? Because right here we're going to do something called the addition process. On this side we are going to be adding extra rings, but on the other side we're going to be reducing. So let's complete the last one before we then add the extra ring. Pay attention to this part, okay? So on the left hand side we add 2 beads. Then we'll cross both ends of the line into the last one added. And this is what we'll have. So now that we have gone into that last bead, we will then add the extra ring. That extra ring will make it look a bit taller. To do that, on the right hand side, I'm going to add 3 beads, okay? Then I'll cross both ends of my line into the last one added. And when I do that, it takes me over to the other side. And this is what I'll have. And as you can see, the extra ring made it look a bit longer than usual. Alright, let's proceed. So right now we want to start a new row, and since this is the addition part of the line, firstly we're going to start with 3 beads. So on the left hand side we add 3 beads, then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. and this is what you'll have. To make it an addition process officially, you then follow the pattern back until you get to that bead right there, because we want to add an extra ring there. Okay, I hope you understand that. Trace the pattern back until it gets to that bead right there at the top. So let's do that. I am right here. Now it is time to add the extra ring, and to do that, on one side of the line we're going to add 3 beads. Then we'll cross both ends of the line into the last one added. And now we just added the extra ring. From here on, we're going to follow the pattern back until it gets back to where we were before. So let's do that. Alright, we are here now. To proceed, the right hand side of the line would go into the next bead. Then on the left hand side, we're going to add 2 beads. Then we'll cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Keep that going. The right hand side will go into the next bead. On the left hand side, we add 2 beads, then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. So you want to keep up with the routine of 2 beads until you get all the way down, but I want you to stop at the second to the last bead, okay? Why? Because that part of this work is the reduction process, and this part we're on is the addition process. And to do the reduction process, we always stop at the second to the last bead. So let's do that. I am right here, almost at the second to the last bead, so the right hand side would go into that bead there. Then on the left hand side, I add 2 beads, then I cross both ends of the line into the last one added. And yeah, so this is where we're going to stop. We won't be going into that last bead because this is the reduction process, but this part right here is the addition process. So let's always know the difference, okay? To proceed, we want to apply the reduction process here on this part. So what do? We follow the pattern back until it gets to the other side of the previous bead right there. So let us do that. I am right here at the other side of the previous bead. So now it is time to start a new row. To start a new row, on the left hand side of the line, we're going to add 3 beads, then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. To proceed, the right hand side of the line would go into the next bead there. Then on the left hand side, you're going to add 2 beads, then you cross both ends of the line into the last one added. So yeah, you want to keep up with the routine until you get all the way down. I want to explain that addition process again for you one more time so that you will understand it better. So let's go. I am right here at the addition part of my work. So let's complete it. I'm gonna go with the right hand side of my line into that last bead. Then on the left hand side, I will add 2 beads and cross both ends into the last one. And now it is complete. So what is the next step? We add an extra ring here, and to do that, on the right hand side, we add 3 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into that last one. So it takes us over to the other side. Alright, we're done with that. Now it is time to start a new row. And to start a new row, what do? On the left hand side of the line, we are going to add 3 beads and cross both ends of the line into the last one. We are done with that. The next step is to follow the pattern back until it gets to the top parts of the ring, that bead right there. Once that is done, we will then add an extra ring On one side of the line we add 3 beads, then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added, and this is what we'll have. Once that is done, we then trace the pattern back until it gets back to where we were before. And yeah, that is how the addition process works. I hope it is very clear to you. From here on, we'll continue with our usual routine of 2 beads. We're going to bead it all the way down, and when we get all the way down, remember that is the reduction part. So what do? We stop right there at the second to the last one, then we follow the pattern back until it gets to the previous bead, then we bead all the way down and take note of the addition part. So in this addition part determines the total length of your bag. Okay, right now if we count in 4s, I think I have done about 17 in total. And yeah, it is about 17, so I'm going to keep these steps going until I get to 25. Okay, so let's do this until we get to our desired length. Let's go. I am right here at my desired length. I have done the steps. I have added, reduced until I got here. So right now I am going to stop the addition process. Why? Because I have reached my desired length. I remember the addition process is what helps you get the total length of your bag. So right now I'm going to convert the addition part of my work to the reduction process. And to do that, we're going to skip that first bead there and go into the second bead. So we pass our line through that bead. Make sure your line is of equal length. Then on the left hand side, you're going to start with 3 beads. I have already taught you how to reduce at the beginning part of this video, but I'm just going to go over one step for you so that you would really understand what I mean. So we draw that down. Then the right hand side would go into the next bead, and on the left hand side we add 2 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. So you keep your routine of 2 beads going until you get all the way down. We are going to stop at the second to the last bead, okay? Because that is how the reduction process goes. So let's do it until we get there. I am right here at the second to the last one, so let's complete it. On the left I had 2 beads, and I cross both ends of my line into the last one. Now that is done, I will then trace the pattern until it gets to the other side of the previous bead. So let's do that. I am done with that. Over here I will then start a new row with 3 beads, then I cross both ends of my line into the last one. Then I bead all the way down and stop at the second to the last bead, then trace back up to the previous bead. So I'll keep this going. I'll keep reducing and reducing until I have just 2 beads pointing out. So let's do that. I am done with the reduction process, and this is what I have done so far. As you can see, we have 2 curvy edges and 2 pointy edges. So this is what your work should look like. It is now time to create the base and the sides of this your bag. To determine how small or how big the base of your bag will be, it will all depend on the edges. Let's say I want my bag to have like a small base size. I'm going to start tracing down from the first ring there on the edge. I'm going to count in 4s, okay? And trace down. That means our base will start from this ring right here. But where will it end? We're going to go to the opposite side of our work now and trace down again from the first ring on the edge. Trace all the way down. And yeah, our base is going to end here. So let's trace upwards to know how small it would be. This is the size you would get. This is okay, but I want a bigger base size. So right now I'm going to trace from the second ring on the edge instead. I will trace that all the way down. So I have gotten where my base will start from. Then I'm going to take a marker to mark that area so that I do not lose sight of it. Okay, that is done.
Let us now look for the opposite side where it is going to end. So from the second ring on the edge, I'm going to trace all the way down as well. So we are here, we're going to give that a mark as well so we will not lose sight of it. Then you're going to trace down from your marked areas to the opposite sides and give them a mark. And we are finally done with that. It is now time to create the sides of your bag. So I want you to look closely at the areas we marked earlier. I'm going to go into the bead before that second marked area, okay? I don't know if you understand. These two beads right here, I'm going to pass my line through it. That first bead there and the second marked bead, okay? Draw out your line, make sure it is of equal length. Then on the right hand side of the line, you are going to add 2 beads. Then you cross both ends of your line into the last one added. And this is what you'll have. To proceed, we're going to start a new row here. So on the left hand side of the line, you are going to add 3 beads. Then you cross both ends of your line into the last one added. You draw that all the way down, and now this is what you have. Do you remember the process I told you that defines the total length of your bag? That is the addition process, and we are going to apply that here. So first off, we're going to create a new row. On the left hand side, you're going to add 3 beads. Then you cross both ends of your line into the last one added. You draw that all the way down. Now to add the extra ring, that is to apply the addition process, we follow the pattern back until it gets to that part of the bead. So let's do that. We are right here. It is now time to add the extra ring. So on one side of the line, I'm going to add 3 beads. Then I cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Once that is done, as usual, I will then trace the pattern back until it gets back to where we were before. So let's do that. I am right here. To proceed, the right hand side of the line would go into the next bead right there. Then on the left hand side, we're going to add 2 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Draw that down. Now look closely, we are faced with something I like to call a dead end. Right there are 2 beads. If you decide to just go with your usual routine of 2 beads to the left and cross with 1, it won't work out. It's going to bulge on the side. So what do? We pass our line into those 2 beads there. Then we take just 1 bead and cross both ends of the line into that bead. Then we draw that down, and finally that row is complete. To proceed, we want to start a new row. So on the left hand side of the line, I'm going to add 3 beads. Then I cross both ends of the line into the last one. I will draw that down, and this is what I'll have. Now look closely at what I'm going to do. I'm going to close a gap right there on the right hand side. So the right hand side of the line will go into the next 2 beads there. Then I'll take 1 bead and cross both ends of the line into that bead. Then I'll draw that all the way down as well. Once that is done, I'm going to follow the pattern all the way to this bead right here. Okay, I hope that's clear. Let's do that. I am right here, so let's continue. The right hand side of the line would go into the next bead there, and on the left hand side we add 2 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. To proceed, repeat the same thing. The right hand side of the line would go into the next bead, and on the left we add 2 beads. So let's keep that going until we get all the way down. I am right here at the last one, so let's complete it. And now it's complete. So like I said earlier, this part of the line is the addition part. This defines the total length of our bag. So we want to add the extra ring. On the right hand side of the line we add 3 beads, then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. So this takes us over to the other side, and now our row is complete. It is now time to create a new row. To create a new row, what do? We start with 3 beads. On the left hand side we add 3 beads, then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Since this is the addition part of the line, we add an extra ring here, so we follow the pattern back until it gets to the bead right there on the top. Then we add the extra ring. To do that, we take 3 beads on one side of the line, then we cross into the last one. Once that is done, we then follow the pattern back to where we were before, and then we continue with our routine of 2 beads. So let's keep that going until we get all the way down. I want to repeat that closing gap part so it will be very clear for you to understand. So let's go. I am almost here, so let's complete the last ring. The left I add 2 beads and I cross with 1, and finally it is complete. So it is time to close the gap. We're gonna go into those 2 beads right there with the right hand side of our line. Then we'll take 1 more bead and cross both ends of the line into that bead. Thread that down, and now the row is complete. This is what we have. To proceed, we want to start a new row. So on the left hand side of our line, we are going to add 3 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Once that is done, we will then take the right hand side of our line and close that gap right there on the right hand side. So we're going to pass the line through those 2 beads there. Then we take 1 more bead and cross both ends of the line into that bead to close the gap. And when we're done with that, what do? We follow the pattern until it gets to that bead right there. So let's do that. We are done with that, and now we're going to go on with our usual routine of 2 beads until we get all the way down. Okay, so keep this going until you get all the way down, and when you get all the way down, what do? You take note of the addition process where you add an extra ring, then you go over to a new line and also add an extra ring there before you then come back all the way down and close the gap. So I want you to do the next line on your own until we get to where that second marked area is. If you do not understand any of what I just said, just keep on watching. Okay, so let's go. I have beaded all the way here and I am almost at the marked area. Okay, so on the left I add 2 beads and complete that one. So we are already here at the marked area, and the next step is to close the gap. So with the right hand side of our line, we're gonna go into those 2 beads, that is the marked beads. Go into them. Then we'll take 1 more bead and cross both ends of the line into that bead. And finally, we are done with that. So this is where we're going to stop. The marked area is our limit. So from here on, we're going to apply the reduction process, okay? Because we're done with that. So we're going to follow the pattern back until we get to the other side of the previous bead. Once that is done, you will then add a new row. To add a new row, you start with 3 beads. So on the left hand side of the line, we are going to add 3 beads. Then you cross both ends of the line into the last one added. You draw that down, and this is what you have. To proceed, we'll keep up with our usual routine of 2 beads until we get all the way down. So let's do that. I am right here on the last one, and on this part of the work, it is the addition process. So we're going to add the extra ring right here on the right hand side of our line. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one. So it takes us over to the other side. Then you start a new row, trace to the top, add the extra ring and trace back, and then this is what you will have. So you want to keep up with this step until you reach your desired total length. You want this side of the addition process to be of the same height with the body of your bag, okay? I don't know if you understand that, but this is what I mean. These two are supposed to be of the same length. We are almost at our goal, so we want to keep adding and reducing on the other side. So let's do this until we get to our desired length, okay? I am right here at my desired length, and this is what it looks like. They both are of equal length now. I have reached my desired length, and officially the addition process will stop. So right where I am, I won't add an extra ring, rather I will then start the reduction process on both sides. So to proceed, we will go on with our usual routine of 2 beads. Notice how I did not add an extra ring there because I am done with the addition process. So from here on, we'll just keep reducing and reducing until we have just 1 bead pointing out. I have already taught you how to do that, so I'll leave you to do that on your own. So let's go. I am done with that, and this is what I have. As you can see, I have reduced and reduced until I have just 1 bead pointing out there. So you want to repeat everything we have done on this side to this other side as well. But if you're doing this, please start from this lane instead of this, because as you can see, we have 2 curvy edges facing each other and 2 pointy edges facing each other. So this is what you want to have. So make sure you start this part from this lane. So I'll leave you to do that on your own. I am done with mine, and this is what I have. Like I said earlier, there should be 2 pointy edges facing each other and 2 curvy edges facing each other, same on all sides. So this is what your work should look like at the end of everything. It is now time to join all sides of this bag to make it a whole bag. Let's start from one part, that is where we have 2 pointy edges. So right here, we want to make sure everything is properly aligned, and I want you to look closely at the bottom right here. You will notice a pattern right there that looks like a ring. That is a pattern of 4 beads, but the thing is that the ring is not joined. So what we're going to do right here is to just pass our line around those beads to make sure it is secure. Okay, just do exactly as I am doing. And now the first one has been joined. Make sure your work is super tight, okay? This is what we have. To proceed, we want to locate another potential ring now. So we're going to trace that pattern right there till we get to this bead right here. Okay, so do exactly as I am doing. We are right here. Make sure your work is super tight. It is now time to close the next potential ring. So we're gonna go into those beads right there, those 3 beads, pass our line through it to make sure it's secure.
And now the second one is closed. So this is all you need to know about the joining of this bag. Once you're done with this, you now trace the pattern to another potential ring. You have to keep this going until you get all the way to the top, and when you get there, you pass around your line and cut off the excess. So let us do that. I am done with that, and this is what I have. The pointy edge side has been joined. It is now time to join the curvy edge side. I want to show you something. This part will be slightly different because, as you can see, when we were making the pointy edge part, we immediately saw the potential ring there. So if you're joining this second part, that is the curvy side, you're going to skip those 3 beads at the bottom and just locate the potential ring right there so that you get the accurate shape of the bag. Okay, so let's do that. This is what I have done so far. Look at how good that looks. So when you are done and have gotten all the way to the top, you are also going to close this gap now. The curvy edge will be closed, so the right hand side would go into the next bead, and on the left hand side you are going to add 2 beads. Then you cross both ends of the line into the last one. And this is what you have. So the gap has been closed, and from here on you just pass around your fishing line and cut off the excess. Repeat everything we have done on this side to the other side as well. Okay, so let's go. I'm finally done with the joining on all sides, and this is what my work looks like. This is what your work should look like as well. It is now time to define the depth on the side of this our bag. We want to fold it in to form the triangular shape. So the bottom part of our bag will help us define that. On one side, I'm going to trace it from the edge right there at the bottom. I'm going to trace upwards till I get to this bead right here. So I'm going to give that a mark so I do not lose sight of it. Okay, I'm done with that. On the other side as well, I will trace from the bottom, that edge part on the bottom, I will trace upwards to that bead right there. I will also give that a mark as well. Yeah, I'm done with that. So if you count all the beads right there on the side, if you count in 4s, you count about 7 rings in total. So this is what you want to have. Now let's join the marked areas together so I can show you how the depth on the side will be. This is how it would look like. It is now time to place our magnetic buttons, and to locate where they will be, we're going to count from the marked areas 2 beads inwards. Okay, as you can see, those 2 beads inwards. Then on one side, we are going to trace down in the middle of those 2 beads inwards to like the 3rd bead there. We'll exclude those first 2 beads and count in 4s. 1, 2, and 3. And yeah, that is where our magnetic button will be. I really hope this won't be confusing to you all. So we're going to give that place a mark, okay? So we do not lose sight of it. Remember, you count inwards, and in the middle of those 2 beads inwards, we exclude the first 2, count in 4s. 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to give that place a mark, okay? So we don't lose sight of it. And yeah, so we're done with the first part. So you also want to mark the other parts. You count 2 beads inwards from the marked areas, and in the middle of those 2 beads, you'll exclude the first 2 beads. Then you count 3 beads downwards, 1, 2, and 3. Then you give that a mark so you do not lose sight of it. And that's basically it. So you want to repeat everything we have done on this side to the other side as well. And now we can get ready to place our magnetic buttons. So let's do that. We are going to cut out some line. Then you take the magnetic buttons. The bottom part of the magnetic buttons are already pressed in, as you can see. So we're going to pass our line through one of the marked beads.
Then we pass both ends of our line through the magnetic buttons. The left part would go to the left and the right would go to the right. Then we draw that all the way down. Once that is done, we will then connect it to the second part of the marked area, that bead right there. Cross both ends of your line into the bead, and this is what you have. Make sure your work is super tight, okay? Then you're also going to go over the other sides of the marked areas, and when you are done with that, you just pass around your fishing line and cut off the excess. You can also choose to tie it, okay, to make sure it is firmly secure. And when you're done with that, you repeat everything we have done on the marked areas on all sides of the bag. Let's go. I am done with that, and this is what I have. I have added magnetic buttons on all sides, so you want to close that in. Repeat the same thing on the other side as well. And as you can see, the shape is coming along nicely. This is what your work should look like, okay? It is now time for another important step, that is building the top part of this bag. Remember that area we marked on the side that defined the depth of our bag? We're going to close it in like this. If you have something like a clip that can hold it firmly temporarily while we do our work, that would be nice. So once we close that in, I want you to look closely at those beads next to that marked area. So those two beads right there, we won't be going into any of them. Rather, we're going to go into the next two beads close to it. Pass your line through those two beads like this. Then you draw out your line, make sure it is of equal length. Then on the left hand side of the line, we are going to add 2 beads. Then you cross both ends of your line into the last one added. Draw that down, and this is what you have. Okay, to proceed, we want to start a new row right now. So on the left hand side, we're going to start a new row. We're going to add 3 beads, then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Alright, so this is what we have. To proceed, right now we're going to close a gap. So those 2 beads right there, like we did earlier, we want to close that gap. We're going to pass the right hand side of our line into those 2 beads because this is a dead end. Then we take just 1 more bead and cross both ends of the line into that bead. We draw that down, and this is what we'll have. Alright, let's continue. We repeat what we just did. On the left hand side, we create a new row first. We add 3 beads to the left. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. We draw that down. Then we close the gap right there. So the right hand side of the line would go into those 2 beads there. Then we take 1 more bead and cross both ends of the line into that bead. Draw that down. And yeah, so let's keep up with this routine. We start a new row on the left hand side of the line. Then on the right hand side, we close the gap that is going to 2 beads with the right hand side of your line. Then you close with 1. So let's keep up with the routine until we get all the way down, okay? Let's go. I have beaded all the way down and I am right here, but I want us to take note of this marked area, okay? Remember, we're going to exclude it and exclude that bead close to it. So we're right here at the last ever one. The right hand side would go into those next 2 beads there. Then we close the gap with 1 bead. And now we are done with that row. This is our limit. What we're going to do right here now is to trace the pattern upwards till we get to this bead right here on the top. So let's do that. I am right here. Next thing I'll do is to take the right hand side of my line through the next bead there. Then on the left hand side, I'm going to add 2 beads. Then I cross both ends of my line into the last one added. Once that is done,
I will then start a new row here, and to start a new row, what do? We start with 3 beads. So on the left hand side of the line, I'm going to add 3 beads, then I cross both ends of the line into the last one added. I will draw that down. What comes next? The gap. So I'm going to close that gap. The right hand side of my line will go into those 2 beads. Then I take one more bead and cross both ends of my line into that bead. I will also draw that down as well. So I will keep up with the routine until I get all the way down again. I start a new row, I close the gap, I start a new row, I close the gap. Let's do it until we get all the way to the other side. Let's go. I am right here at the last part, so let's complete the last ever one together. This is our limit. So the right hand side would go into the next 2 beads there. To close that gap, we will then take one more bead and cross both ends of the line into that bead. And finally, the gap has been closed. So this is where we're going to stop right here. I'm just going to pass around my fishing line and cut off the excess. So let's do that. I am done with that, and this is what my work looks like so far, and this is what yours should look like as well. It is now time for the final part, that is attaching a handle to our clutch. Firstly, we want to fold in the clutch like this, right there. Make sure both ends are aligned, and this is what you'll have. So if you can notice, you're going to see a pattern of 4 beads right there. Repeat the same thing on the other side, fold it in as well. To create the handle, you're going to cut out some line, then you're going to pass it through the pattern of 4 beads right there. Those 4 beads, you're going to pass your line through it to make sure it is secure. So let's do that. Alright, we are done with that, and now it is secure. So we have secured the first part. Let's also secure the other parts. So we're going to do the same thing, follow the pattern of 4 beads to make sure it is very secure. And when we are done with that, what we're going to do is to just pass around our line and cut off the excess line. Okay, so let us do that on this side. I'm done with that, and this is what I have. It has been secured. Let's go back to where we have our line. Make sure it's tight. So to create the handle of this bag, we're going to start on the left hand side. We add 3 beads, then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. You draw that down, and this is what you'll have. To proceed, the right hand side of the line would go into the next bead there. That is the second of the 4 pattern beads that were there. Then on the left hand side, you will then add 2 beads and cross both ends of the line into the last one added. To proceed, the right hand side would go into the next bead there. That is the third of the 4 pattern beads we secured earlier. Then repeat what we just did. On the left hand side, we add 2 beads, then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. And now it is time to complete the last one, that is the 4th of the 4 pattern beads. This time around, we're going to go into these 2 beads because this is a dead end. So all we need to do is to just close the gap. We're going to go into the 2 beads with the right hand side of our line. Then we take one more bead and close the gap. And yeah, we are done with the first row of our handle. This is what our work looks like. So let's do the handle process one more time together before I leave you to do this until you get to your desired length. So let's go to start. On the left hand side, we add 3 beads, then we'll cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Alright, so the first one has been complete. To proceed, the right hand side would go into the next bead, that is the second of the 4 beads. On the left hand side, we add 2 beads, then we cross both ends of the line into the last one. To proceed, we repeat what we just did. The right hand side of the line would go into the next bead, that is the third of the 4 patterns right there. Then on the left hand side, we add 2 beads and cross both ends of the line into the last one added.
Okay, we're done with that. It is now time to complete the last ever one. So this is a dead end. This time around we're going to go into those 2 beads there. Then we take one more bead and cross both ends of the line into that bead. And finally, the second row is complete. So yeah, this is all you need to know about the building of the handle. I'm going to keep these steps going until I get to my desired length. Okay, I have done 2 complete rows so far. I'm going to do this until I get to 26. So let's go. I have beaded up to my desired length and I have done 26 rows in total. It is now time to attach the handle to the other side. To do that, we want to make sure they are properly aligned. Look closely at where our fishing line is facing, this bead right here. So we're going to make sure it matches the bead on the other side. And yeah, so we've gotten it. Those 2 beads right there are aligned properly. To join them now, you're going to take one bead and pass it through your line. That is the right hand side of the line. Then you're going to connect it to that bead right there. That bead right where we are facing. Once that is done, you will then take one more bead and cross both ends of the line into that bead. And now the first one has been joined. To proceed, we're going to flip that over so we can join the second one. Make sure they are properly aligned again. Now look closely at those beads. We're going to pass both ends of our line through it. The one on the right would go to the right and the one on the left would go to the left. Then we take one more bead and cross both ends of the line into that bead. And now the second part has been closed. Okay, let's close the third one together, the third of the 4 beads. Repeat what we just did. Both sides of the line would go through both beads there. The right would go to the right and the left would go to the left. Then we take one more bead and cross both ends of the line into that bead. Now it is time for the last ever one. So right here, what we need to do is to just pass our line through those beads right there to make sure it is very secure. And when we are done with that, we then pass around our line. Then we cut off the excess. So let us do that. I am finally done with that, and this is what my work looks like so far. This is what yours should look like as well. It is time for the final part. This was actually last minute. I did not know that I would need an extra magnetic button. So let us mark the area where we want our magnetic button to stay. Make sure everything is properly aligned. Then look closely at the beads I'm going to point at. These 4 beads right here. In fact, let's give it a mark with our marker. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So that is exactly where our magnetic buttons will be. Mark the same thing on the other side. I have already taught you how to add the magnetic button, so I'm going to leave you to do that on your own. And finally, we are done with our bag. Man, finally! This tutorial just broke the record for the longest tutorial on my channel. This is what our bag looks like, and this is what your watch should look like as well. If you want yours to be bigger, you know the drill. If you have watched my previous tutorial, always start with an even number. I started with 22, so you can do 24, 26, 28, however you prefer. I really hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, please do not forget to like, subscribe and share to your friends who would love to recreate this bag. Thank you so much for sticking around. I'll see you all in my next tutorial. Goodbye.